is like hard medicine. There's nothing better than you. Your love is like.
More than a half year later, we finally bring you a video from the World Mountain Bike Orienteering Championships 2023 in Jičín, Czech Republic. Let it be a nice throwback and a motivation for the ongoing season. Let's dive in.
Today is Saturday before the first race of the World Championships in the Czech Republic. We are at a hotel and we are preparing for tomorrow. It's a sprint distance. How do you feel before the first race of the World Championships at the home country?
Well, I look pretty forward to it because I think it will be one of the best championships so far. To be honest, I'm a little bit tired because of all the stuff we had to deal with over the last 2 months regarding our van Eddie, which got wrecked in a car accident. Apart from that, I feel quite ready for tomorrow.
You were competing also in 2015 in the Czech Republic. How do you recall that?
Yeah, not like great memories. I competed in only 2 distances. In the middle distance, I had some crash and I broke my front wheel, so I didn't finish. And then in long distance, and there I made some like 10-minute mistake and ended up on 39th position. So yeah, my performance back then was real bad, and yeah, I wasn't even selected for neither sprint nor the relay. But as I recall, you were also there, right?
For me, it was one of the first races I even was at, like, as a spectator, as for MTBO. I was runner back then still, and yeah, I met the Czech team like for the first time maybe there. Yeah, but for me, this is the second World Championships, as was yours back then, and I hope it will go a little bit better than yours.
It all started with the sprint distance in the town of Jičín, which was closed to the traffic for the race. The terrain varied from suburban forest to historical town center, and it even went through the Jičín Palace. Very interesting part was the area of school because it couldn't be found on a Google Street View, so nobody could check it in advance. And as a cherry on top, it was all broadcasted on a national TV. If you want to see the whole race from a head cam, we have a video of that on our YouTube channel. The winner of this race was Krištof Bogár. I finished second half a minute behind him, and third was sprint specialist from Estonia, Lauri Malsros. Here is mine and Krištof's commentary just after the race.
Byl jsem rád, že jsem si docela našel dobrou taktiku na ty paneláčky tam, že jsem prostě byl jenom na asfaltu a vlastně, no, i když jsem prostě najížděl třeba o vteřinu o 2 další jako varianty, tak prostě jsem byl jistý, no.
Jako tady na tu 19 třeba, že jo, tak to jsem tady projel, tady jsem ještě byl zmatený z tohohle, no. Tak jsem ještě to uhnul tady na tu cestičku, ale jsem se srazil s tím kameramanem, co za mnou. No. A byl jsem tady po té cestičce radši a pak jsem mastil okolo úplně.
No, já jsem se tady i otočil hnedka zpátky, abych tady nic neriskoval, na ten asfaltík tady. A pak jsem vzal tady, takhle. Já jsem posral tu 5, no. Já jsem tady sjel doprava a tady jsem chtěl jít doleva, protože pro mě jsem chtěl jít cikcák, ale to jsem nějak nezvládl, tak jsem to vzal takhle. A tady někdo stal ty kontroly, mě to nějak zmátlo, tak jsem přejel tu křivatku, urazil kontrolu a pak říkal, aha, do píče, no tak jsem. Takže tady mám 26 a jak jsem se otáčel, tak to je dalších 10, že jo.
Já jsem to namopoval na startu krásně a byl jsem tam úplně kovaný, jo.
A tu 2 si bral?
2 jsem bral, jsem si dal pozor, abych se mě musel otáčet, ale jsem takhle.
Jo, to bylo podle mě optimální.
Ladies and gentlemen, the gold medalist and the world champion. Zlatá medaile a titul mistra světa za Českou republiku from Czechia, Krištof Bogár.
It was really nice to already have a good result from this World Championships, so I could feel calm for all the other races. next one on schedule was long distance. The first control points of the long distance were in a village, which was pretty unusual but interesting. It just should have been in a different scale because sometimes I couldn't understand it even while standing still. Most interesting control, in my opinion, was control number 19 with around 5 route choices. The ones going from the left side went through unknown area, but avoided water crossing in the valley. Fastest and most easy to follow was to start from the left side and then stay on the bigger paths. In the last part, my plan was to make it secure and rather go around and lose some seconds than risk some bigger mistakes. I had a feeling that my race was quite good, and it was. I finished first, 2 minutes ahead of Simon Helmer and another 2 minutes ahead of Wojciech Stransky.
The gold medal and the title of the world champion 2023 on a long distance. Zlatá medaile a titul mistra světa na rok 2023 na klasice Vojta Ludvík.
And if you're wondering why my web holder is like that, the tape protecting the handlebars got scratched off, so my web holder couldn't hold in place correctly. Yeah, I guess I should prepare my bike a bit better for important races like this.
The middle distance I remember as a fun race with just the right amount of climbing for me, because I felt quite strong after the long distance the previous day. The terrain was quite hard with so many little paths, and I know the map had its flaws, even though the organizers tried very hard to mark all those little paths in the terrain with ribbons. I think all of us recall some standing in the forest deciding whether to continue and believe we are on a path or turn it around and look for the path elsewhere, which is a quite hard decision when the shortcutting is forbidden, because you risk a disqualification on one hand, continuing, and a huge time loss on the other hand by searching for the path you might be on. So you had to be super sure where you were all the time and catch all the features around to support it. Yeah, that was the hard part about this race. Particularly, I remember the route choice to control number 6, which was asking us, do you feel strong enough to go over the hill, or do you want to risk the longer route choice around it? It was better to go over the hill. Then I remember very well my biggest mistake in that race, when during the leg to the control number 13, I suddenly started mapping to control number 14. I realized it thanks to girls going in the opposite direction, so I stopped for a while and was deciding whether to go through the valley or turn around and get back on track. And there was a funny moment when I was so angry, I was pedaling so fast to get back, and I was overtaking Veronika, thanks who I previously realized the error. And in the finish then she was like, oh, you were so fast, how was it possible? I felt so slow. Yeah, I think I will remember that, it was nice. My positive emotions about this race are for sure supported by the fact that even though I lost exactly 2 minutes to Emily, who won that leg to the 13th control, I finished 9th. So it was a good day for me.
Start!
Edition. Jedu taky, jo?
Mustard, race that numerous friends and family members came to see in person. It was made so that there were 3 loops and each time we went through the arena. Last couple of controls were same for all the riders. The race itself was extremely fast and quite easy, but still you had to concentrate all the time because everything looked quite similar and it would be really hard to find yourself again. I didn't ride much with other riders. I had a feeling I ride it quite well, but you can never tell 100% because you don't know all the forkings until you see the last map. In the last part, I kept seeing Andrea Haga ahead of me. Luckily for me, he made a little mistake just a couple of controls before finish, so we got together. In the last uphill, I gave it all and was really relieved that Andrea didn't close the gap, so we didn't have to sprint for the medal. According to cheering in the arena, I got a feeling that it's really great, and it was.
And the gold medal and the title of world champion in mass start for this year. Zlatá medaile a titul mistra světa ze závodu s hromadným startem Vojta Ludvík, Česká republika.
There was a bit of an issue with Andrea's finish because he didn't follow the marked route from the last control. There should be tape from the last control to the finish, but in reality there were only ribbons and they were quite easy to miss. He got disqualified for some time, but at the end he got his silver medal and I'm pretty glad it ended up like that. 3rd place went to Simon Helmiller.
Sunday brought relays and finally a colder weather, which I was looking forward to the whole hot week. Because my performance over the week was solid, I was placed right in between Veronika Kubínova and Martina Tichovská in the relay check 1. And I wanted to make it so right, and that was the problem. Right after the start on the 2nd leg, I was like a curious kitten on a trip. Visiting every corner of the forest, making bad choices, not seeing paths in the map. It was so bad, but by mistake after mistake I made it to the finish with all the controls in the right order, which was my achievement that day. I'm so sorry, girls. But they did a great job on their legs and Martina finished 3rd, so it was a bronze medal for us in the end. Because of my experience, I cannot judge the race clearly enough, but I think it was a good race in a diverse terrain, which is always fun, and it was set by Leoš Bogár, father of Krištof, who always makes great races with tricky choices. The cherry on top of the week was the gold medal for our super strong men's relay.
The gold medal and the title of world champions for Vojta Stránský, Vojta Ludvík a Krištof Bogár. Tým Čeky a Česká republika. Zlatá medaile a titul mistrů světa ve štafetách pro rok 2023.
So there were enough achievements to celebrate at the banquet in the evening. That we enjoyed a lot. It was a really good one after a long time. But what happens at a banquet stays at a banquet. So that brings us to the end of this video. We hope the World Championships 2023 is in your minds as a good week. And we are looking forward to seeing you in the new season. Bye!